Taking the leap into learning jazz guitar can be a pretty daunting step, even if you've been playing guitar for many years now. But maybe you've been listening to Wes Montgomery recently and you just love that classic jazz sound, or maybe you're a metalhead that's just heard Alan Holdsworth for the first time. But whichever route has led you into wanting to learn jazz guitar, hopefully this series should give you the fundamentals to get started. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you a few basic chord voicings that will allow you to play thousands of jazz standards. So grab your guitar, let's get to it. This lesson is all about basic chord voicings. We'll get to soloing later. Sure, practicing solos is the fun stuff, that's what we want to do most of the time, right? But realistically, playing in a band is 80 to 90% chordal work, so we've got to get that stuff together first. If you want to make sure that you catch the next steps, then go ahead and hit subscribe below and ring the bell, and you'll be notified when I upload them. Today, I'm going to start off by showing you just 5 different chords which you can use to play almost any classic jazz standard. I highly recommend you buy yourself a copy of the real book. This version is the pocket version, which is cheaper, but it is missing a few sort of very important tunes, but it's still going to give you enough stuff to get going with. Okay, so here we go. This is our first chord. This is C major 7, so I'm on the 3rd fret on the A string for my C, and then I'm going to play these notes. Okay, so this is C major 7. Now all of these chords are what we call 7th chords. I'm not going to dive too much into the theory of how they're constructed just yet. The aim of this lesson is to get you playing these things first, so we'll talk about that another time. So there's C major 7, and then now we've got C minor 7. Okay, now we're going to do C dominant 7. So I'm going to start on that C again, but I'm going to use my 3rd finger. And I'm going to do a basic C chord, but I'm going to add my little finger onto the G string on the 3rd fret here. Okay, so that's C7. Alright, next up is C minor 7 flat 5. So looks like this. Okay, and then finally C diminished 7. Now we also want to know 2 versions of each of these chords, with root notes on both the E string and the A string. Otherwise we end up having to sort of jump all over the place if we just have our root notes on one string. So let me show you the same chords but with the root notes on the E string instead. I've got my C again, just this time up on the 8th fret on the E string. Okay, and here's my C major 7 voicing. So okay, we do end up with slightly different voicings for these chords, by which I mean some of the notes are in different orders, but these are great shapes just to kind of get you started. So there's C major 7. Here we have C minor 7. This one's a little tricky. You could do it like this. You could squeeze them all together like that, or if you're used to playing bar chords like this, then this kind of works really well, this 3rd finger thing here. And they're all on the same fret, all of those notes there. Okay. The next one, C dominant 7 or C7. Just like that. Okay. Here's C minor 7 flat 5, so I've got 3rd those, and then here's my flat 5 here with my first finger. Finally, we've got the C diminished 7, which is another slightly tricky one. It's a tricky one to remember actually, but you've got your middle finger on the root note, my first finger here, and my third finger's on the G, and then this finger is barring like that, so I've got the note on the B string there. So there's C diminished 7. Now you might open your real book and see more complicated looking chords. You might see things like C7 sharp 11, or E flat 7 flat 9, or C major 7 sharp 5, etc. These are called upper extensions, and we use them to add colour and tension into our chord progressions. However, to begin with, we're not going to worry so much about these because there's enough stuff going on already as it is, trying to just navigate the fretboard. So we'll talk about all that stuff later. One of the most common chord progressions in many of these tunes is called the 2-5-1. So what that means is I play the second chord in the scale, followed by the fifth chord in the scale, resolving to my 1. If I was in the key of C major, for instance, my 2 chord is D minor 7, my 5 is G7, and my 1 is C major 7. Okay, so here's our 2-5-1 progression in the key of C, with our C on the A string, on the 3rd fret. So I'm going to start on D, and I'm going to play my minor 7 shape. So this is D minor 7. And then I'm going to go to G7 here. And then I'm going to go to C major 7 here. Okay, so one more time. D minor 7, G7, C major 7. Play along with me like this. So I'm going to go a bar on D minor 7, bar on G7, and then 2 bars on C major 7. Keep going. Okay, now let's try the same chord progression but with our root note up here on the E string, on the 8th fret. So there's my C, so I'm going to start with D, D minor 7, like this, and then G7, like that, and then C major 7. Okay, one more time. D minor 7, G7, C major 7. Let's try it. Another common device is the minor 2-5-1. Same idea as before, but just in a minor key. So this time we would have D minor 7 flat 5, G7, C minor. Okay, let's try the minor 2-5-1. Okay, so we're going to go D minor 7 flat 5. I'm going to do G7 again. And then we're going to go to C minor. Now this is just normal C minor, we're not doing C minor 7. We could, if we like, we could do C minor major 7, like this. But in the interest of trying to keep this as simple as possible to begin with, let's just use a C minor that you will probably already know at this point. So let's go for it. let's go again in the E string position. So here's our C again. So we're going to start from here. So there's D, minor 7, flat 5, G7, C minor. Let's go. Once you're comfortable playing these 2-5-1s, start testing yourself on them in different keys. So, pick a random key each day and practice them in both positions, in the A string root or in the E string root, and just get used to trying it in different keys and finding your way around the fretboard. So now we're getting comfortable playing 2-5-1s. It's probably about time to learn a tune. So let's learn a standard. Now, the first standard I remember learning was Autumn Leaves. And it's a great one to begin with because it's relatively straightforward, but it incorporates all of the things that we've spoken about so far. So I'll show you the chords first, and then I'll add a little section that you can just play along with afterwards. Okay, so here are the chords for Autumn Leaves. Okay, so we're going to start with an A minor 7. So I'm on the 5th fret here with my A minor 7 chord. Then I go to D7. Then G major 7, then I've got C major 7, okay, then I'm going to go up here to F sharp, and I'm going to play my minor 7 flat 5, followed by B7 and E minor, okay, then it goes round again, we go back to A minor 7, D7, G major 7, C major 7, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7, E minor. Then for the B section, we go back to F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7, E minor 7, sorry, E minor. Then we go A minor 7, D7, G major 7, C major. You see how it's just kind of recycling the same two things? It's the 2-5-1 and then it's the minor 2-5-1. Then I've got F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7. Then this bit, this is different depending on your interpretation. You might see it written differently in different real books, or different people might play different versions. But I think the simplest one to begin with is this. If you go E minor 7, E flat minor 7, D minor 7, G7, and then we go F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7, E minor 7, sorry, E minor on the end. maybe just start off with just the root notes, like this. And so on. And then when you're ready after that, then start throwing on the chords. And maybe if you like, just do one in a bar like this, and then gradually work your way up to doing 4 in a bar, and so on. So now you're able to play around this classic tune. Why not test yourself with a new one each day? Just open the book up at a random page and see if you can play it. Don't worry about trying to memorize them or anything like that just yet. Just focus on developing this ability to quickly recognize where those chords are on the fretboard. Eventually, after a couple of months, you'll be able to sort of open the book up and play any tune in the real book. So let me know how you get on. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions or queries, or maybe you want to share your first steps in jazz guitar. Perhaps you have a favourite standard that helped you in the beginning. Get in touch if you're interested in guitar lessons, either in person or online, and hit subscribe if you want to see more. Next time, I'll be talking about the foundations of soloing over these types of tunes. Until then, thanks for watching.